And I think the most important thing also to understand in photography, it's about you and what you see. So when it comes to equipment and people say, oh, you need this and this brand, fantastic camera with a 50,000 megapixels. No, you even with a phone, you can do so much. It's about what you see, and the most important thing is composition and light.
Yoga everybody, I'm Ray Moses and welcome to the Ray Moses Show. So today we have an amazing photographer and she's Claire. Claire, maybe you please introduce yourself to the amazing viewer.
Hello, I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Claire and I wouldn't say company because I don't have a company, but my photographic name is Wise Photographics because my maiden name is actually Wise. So Wise Photographics.
So Claire, how did you get to come to Uganda?
I've been living in Uganda for 22 years.
Oh, wow.
My husband and I drove from London to Uganda and arrived in Uganda in 2000, and back in August 2000.
Yeah.
And all the way I was documenting our journey. It took us about 8 months, but I was using a film camera back then.
Okay.
So I didn't have the privilege, or what do you call it, of using digital, because of course you took a photograph and you hope for the best. You had to really think about your photographs, because with digital you get a little bit lazy because you can just go click, click, click. But with film, because I was only traveling with, I think I had about 12 rolls of 36 exposure.
Oh.
Actually, no, it might have been more than that. It was quite a lot of film I was carrying. So, and so we arrived in August 2000 and we have remained in Uganda since.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Pearl of Africa.
Thank you so much.
So are you loving it here in Uganda?
Of course, I would not be here for so long. I would not be living in this country for so long.
Oh, that's really nice. So what do you love most about Uganda?
Definitely, it has to be the people.
Oh, wow.
Definitely, it's the people.
Oh.
What I love about Uganda is that you can just walk down the street and people will greet you. You greet them and they greet you. In my country, which is Australia, people don't greet you like that. They're just not quite as friendly. So they look at you a bit suspiciously.
Oh, sorry.
As if, what do you want?
Oh, sorry.
But here, everybody is a lot of genuineness that comes from people. It's very genuine, and that's what I enjoy about Uganda.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Apart from being a beautiful country, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course, we are blessed with nature.
Oh, my word.
Right now, we are just here near the River Nile. It's just right in the background, so maybe we should go and swim.
Yeah, perhaps to cool down because it's a hot day today. Hot day.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you get into photography?
I got into photography many, many years ago, but really I think more so when I was doing my overland trip, because I was documenting our journey. Yeah. And like I said, I was using a film camera back then, so I didn't have the luxury of just going click, 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 click as you do with digital. So when the overland trip was finished, we arrived in Uganda. I think, I can't recall when, but I ended up changing over to digital when I was able. And my first digital camera was actually a Panasonic Lumix.
Ooh, that's what we're using right now.
Yeah,
we're using a GH5 right now.
Except in my day, it was the one that was not an interchangeable lens.
Oh.
So I kind of figured to improve my photography, I needed to practice on a prosumer compact.
Yeah.
And then once I sort of started to master the art and got frustrated with the limited capabilities of something like that, that's when I changed up to, it was a Canon 40D DSLR.
Oh.
And then I was able to get some lenses and practice with that. I've just been photographing ever since.
Oh, nice.
And my main thing, what I love the most is photographing people.
Oh, that's
people,
nice.
as in portraits.
Portraits, yeah.
But, interacting with someone, getting to know them a bit before you stick your camera in their face, it's very important. And I'm also a lover of architecture.
Oh,
so photograph architecture.
That's really beautiful.
But not so much in Uganda. That's something that I when I'm travelling outside. So, yeah, that's how I got into photography when I was doing my overland trip.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's when I really got into it.
So this question goes out for someone who is dreaming to become a photographer.
Yes.
So with your experience, the first time you got into photography, how did you feel about it?
Getting into photography, I felt very insecure because I have always, in fact, struggled with what I would say are my lack of technical skills, because I've had some formal training, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So I've not been to university. I'm mostly self-educated and trained in photography.
Yeah.
I have done some courses. I actually went to India and studied at an institute so I studied photography in Mumbai
Yeah.
for a couple of months to help improve my technical skills, but that was more to do with studio photography. And I'm not really a studio photographer. So I think that's been my greatest frustration, but it's practice, practice, practice. And you just, and seek the guidance of other people who know more than you. I think that's the most important thing, is don't hesitate to ask questions.
Okay.
And if you can't get something right, go and find somebody that can show you how to do it properly.
So you said that you're self-taught. Do you think someone out there who is watching, a viewer out there who is watching this video, do you think they can become great photographers? They can
100%.
and live out of photography through just self-teaching themselves?
Yes, why not? I know some very successful photographers who have not had formal training. When I say formal training, going to a university or a college or something. Absolutely, I know some photographers who are outstanding and are all self-taught. So, yeah. But I mean, if you have the luxury and you have the opportunity of being able to go and study, why not? But it's not an essential requirement.
Yeah, actually, me personally, like, I may say I'm self-taught because I started watching YouTube videos, and that's how I caught up.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I started using my small iPhone 5 to take photos, and then I upgraded to like a small Sony camera, and then I went to my a Canon 550D.
Yes.
And right now, only the sky is the limit.
That's
like,
it.
I mean, you guys, you can really do this. You just need to have the mind. Like, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to take a step forward.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing also to understand in photography, it's about you and what you see. So when it comes to equipment and people say, oh, you need this and this brand fantastic camera with a 50,000 megapixels. No, you even with a phone, you can do so much. It's about what you see. And the most important thing is composition and light. Those are very important things. And once you master the lighting and you understand composition, well, you can do so many things. And having an extremely expensive camera is great, but it's not the be-all and end-all with photography.
Yeah.
And certainly when you are wanting to learn and acquire skills, YouTube.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely. There is so much out there for free that, in fact, you don't have to pay. You can teach yourself from basics right up to advanced by just trawling the internet and seeing what's available. And again, if you can find yourself working with a photographer, volunteering your time with a professional photographer and asking to be their assistant, that is also a fantastic way of getting experience.
Yeah, I think that's really, you spoke about having like big gadgets. Like, I mean, you can have one of the most expensive gadgets, but without techniques, without like the ability to use these gadgets, it would really be so hard, you know?
Be a waste of money, a waste of time.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is master your photography skills first and learn on a phone. If that's what you've got, teach yourself how to maximize the potential that your phone has. A lot of the newer smartphones, wow, they're very impressive with what they can do.
Yeah.
But it's just learn the basics first. And then when you feel you've mastered the basics and you feel that you want to invest in a camera, then, you know, go with what you've learned. Don't go and buy something so fantastically expensive and then think, well, what am I doing with this thing? Just go gradually, slowly. You don't have to rush with something like that.
I think that's a really good advice to the viewers out there, especially the ones who are beginning their photography journey, to really help them.
Well, I think mobile photography is the way to go. When you're really teaching yourself the basic skills, and then once you feel that you've mastered it, like I said again, light. Light is so important.
In composition.
Oh, absolutely. The two of those, and if you get that right, well, the rest is just, wow.
Yeah, and when we're speaking about the composition, we're speaking about the rule of thirds.
Yes, the golden hour.
Yeah, exactly.
The morning light, the night, the afternoon light, the afternoon, late afternoon and early evening. Beautiful, beautiful light.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes you have to photograph in bright light, so like this. But
like right now in Uganda, we've been in a project and you have to photograph right in the middle of the day. So
what do you do? You can make adjustments with your exposure and things like that to help so it's not so bright.
And also maybe use a flash to remove the
That's
shadows,
true.
you know?
A fill
The
flash.
eyes, yeah.
That's it. But you need to also be careful with using flash
Yeah.
and get to know how to use it properly, because otherwise it can look terrible.
Yeah, it looks too flashy and it's just pretty amateur.
But that's the next level.
Yeah.
Learning how to use flash.
Yeah.
So, but just getting back to learning from people that know more than you.
Yeah.
Tommy
Yeah.
Hatwell
Yeah.
with the Sleepwell project, and that is another reason why I've joined him for the Sleepwell project, is because I know Tommy's going to be able to teach me a lot of things,
Oh, that's amazing.
different skills and how to look at things differently. And it's important to get the advice of someone else who knows more than you.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So, do you remember like your first client? Like, how was that experience when you had like your first client? And was it like super paying? Like, let me say you've just started and they're paying you $1 million US. Of course, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever have to work again if that was the case. I'm trying to think who my first paying client was. Really, my first paying client would have been here in Uganda.
Ooh.
I think I started to help a professional photographer who was living here, who is a Mzungu also, but a Ugandan Mzungu, been born and bred here.
Yeah.
And he needed an assistant with wedding photography.
Oh, nice.
So I was doing that. Was very tiring.
Oh.
And then I sort of managed to get some gigs working in events.
Yeah.
And that for me was paid.
Yeah.
Very tiring and stressful.
Yeah.
Because as we were discussing earlier, photography is not about just going click, 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 click. You've got to really think about what you're doing, and especially when someone's paying you.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Yeah.
Because you want to give them the finished
Quality,
product that
yeah.
they're going to be happy
Yeah.
with. And that's something that I pride myself on, is to make sure that my work is of a very high standard.
Yeah.
Because it's a reflection of you.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So yeah, events photography. Then I started to do a little bit of work with some not-for-profits, and I went up to some of the IDP camps, refugee camps,
yeah.
and photographed in there. But yeah, I haven't done a lot of paid work in Uganda, only some.
Okay.
But I tend to do a lot of it for the love of it.
But do you think like a person watching this video, like a person who is beginning their photography journey, do you think they can live off photography, like they can earn a living out of photography?
I think it's very tough. I'll be honest with you. It's very, very tough to make a living out of photography unless you're highly skilled.
Yeah.
And again, this is not to dissuade someone from that journey,
Yeah.
but you've got to be a cut above
Yeah.
other people, because now we have digital. It's far too easy for people to snap. And
Yeah.
you tend to find that a lot of people who are wanting services are satisfied with mediocre.
Yeah.
Mediocre photographs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I think to become successful in photography as a photographer, you really have to excel.
You have
and
to
you
work
have
hard.
to be able to give something that other people can't give.
Okay.
So it's not to say it's not possible, because it's certainly possible.
Yeah.
But with the advent of digital, everybody's taking pictures.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to give something a bit more than something.
I think that's a really good advice, because you need to be outstanding. Like you need to make unique photos. You need to make things that,
True.
you know, it's outstanding. That speaks for itself. And, you know, clients will just look for you.
True. That's
The
very true.
clients will look for you and then they will recommend you. So you just need to be outstanding.
I think word of mouth is important, but also knowing how to market yourself is very important.
Yeah.
And of course, with social media as
Yeah.
well, you really need to push it out there. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot of energy, and like with anything, you have to put that energy in
And out.
to get something back.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you love? Like, which food do you love most in Uganda? What's your favorite Ugandan dish?
I have to say probably the very simple one, some greens.
Yeah.
I really enjoy a bit of matoke.
Yeah.
And I like the beef. I like nyama. Nyama choma.
Nyama choma.
Definitely. Oh, actually, my favourite dish of all
Yeah.
is whole fried tilapia.
Ooh.
The whole fried tilapia.
There we go.
Ooh, and you've got to have piri piri with it too.
That's
the best.
really nice.
That's the best.
So for anybody like starting their photography journey, do you think they need like this expensive Sony cameras, like like very expensive gadgets, big lightings, like, you know?
That can come in time, for sure. You do need good quality equipment to put out good quality products, and certainly it does make a difference. Yes, it does, but right at the beginning, it's not important to spend a lot of money on this high-end equipment if you don't know how to use it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Practice. Get used to using what you have And
Yeah.
then when you feel that you need to move to the next level, then you can start to invest.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, is to always realize that it's not about the equipment, it's also about you and
Yeah.
how you see things.
Okay.
So that's what's important.
Oh. So, what advice do you give like someone who is starting their journey, their photography journey? Maybe.
The advice that I can give for somebody starting their photographic journey is, again, don't be fearful of your equipment. Start off basic with the basic skills. You've got to learn the basic skills before you can move on to anything, the next level.
Yeah.
And don't be fearful to ask questions. And it's very important to seek the guidance of somebody who knows more than you.
Okay.
Because how else do you learn? And yeah, I think find a mentor. And again, social media is incredible too. I've connected with so many incredible people through Instagram,
Yeah.
really. And I've been fortunate enough to meet them. Tommy Hadwell, for one. Tommy and I met via Instagram 5 years ago.
Oh, that's nice.
And we only met recently.
Okay.
So, and I've met other photographers that are also high level, what I call high level professional photographers, who have imparted a lot of knowledge to me as well. And it's all about growing and not be afraid to ask questions. That's the most important thing. And don't think that you need the biggest, most expensive camera to succeed, because you don't.
So maybe can you list for a beginner photographer like what they need, the most basic thing they need to start off their journey?
If you have a telephone that can take a photograph, that's all you need. That's all you need is a camera that on the back of your phone, and that enables you to take a photograph. Then that is a good way to start off, really, because you can get some fantastic photographs. But again, with the knowledge of light and composition and the rule of thirds, and they're basic things that you can learn by just looking on the internet.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just your phone and your journey will be off. Thanks guys for watching. If this video is adding value to you, please consider subscribing. Click on the notification bell to stay updated whenever I upload new content in relation to photography, filmmaking, YouTube, and self-development. And stay tuned for the next video. Love you all. Wi-Fi high five. Wi-Fi high five. Let's do
Wi-Fi high five.
Wi-Fi high five. And peace. We love you and see you guys in the next video.
Thank you. Go well on your journey.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.